For me, Neymar would have been the #1 penalty taker. Just set the tone, make sure you're going to score the first one, calm everybody else down.
I think Neymar was hoping that he would score a winning penalty. Yeah.
Understand why he was still in the field at that point. Obviously, I got him my answer. Tite, yeah, you're right. You're a genius. You know what you're doing. That's why I'm not managing the Brazilian national team. But then afterwards, if indeed you're going to take a defensive posture, then why is he still on the field?
¿Se equivoca Tite al sacar después del gol a Neymar? Tú eres técnico. Da la impresión que se equivoca.
Para mí se equivoca.
Wasn't meant to be, and I feel so sorry for that man Neymar. It wasn't his best game today, but he got his goal, but it wasn't enough.
It's always, we say it every time, that's always the danger, isn't it? If you save your main man to take the final penalty and you don't get that far, and that's what's happened.
Yeah, they're totally different approaches, obviously, for managers, you know, and recently over the last years, you always saw the best penalty taker take the first one, set the tone, you know, make sure, and don't keep him for the fifth, basically, because he might not get the chance to.
So when you say, would you have best penalty taker always take the
I mean, for me, Neymar would have been the #1 penalty taker. Just set the tone, make sure you're going to score the first one, calm everybody else down. The momentum shifted with Croatia's equalizer. Absolutely, 2 minutes before the end of the extra time. You know, what goes through your mind then if you're a Brazilian player? Then you suddenly get scared and you know the whole nation is expecting from you to go through to the semifinals. Oh my gosh, and then you start to panic a little bit in your mind and you're far more nervous then because you don't have any time anymore to kind of balance yourself out and relax a second.
Two lads he put on the outside began to get crosses in, and one of the goals, the equaliser came from a cross from, I think it was Orsic. Bit lucky, equaliser. You know, Pat said best team won. It's hard to say that when Brazil have had so many attempts on goal and Croatia had just one.
What about the fact that Neymar didn't take a penalty? Was he going to take their last penalty, would you think? Because in terms of standing up for the big moments, yes, he created one very special moment, but he wasn't there to help them in the biggest pressure moment of all.
We'll find out in the interviews the players give after this, but to think that there would be 5 penalties and him not be of any of them, which means 10 minutes ago he stood on the pitch to all his players, him being the main man in that team, and said, sorry lads, carry on without me. I don't think he did that. I don't think that's a possibility at all, but superb save. The very first penalty kick here by the goalkeeper, who must be still on a high from what he did last week in the last penalty shootout. Everyone who says I'll go fifth.
No, I mean Neymar, he's that kind of man.
I don't disagree with that. I don't agree with that at all. We're absolutely on the same page when it comes to Neymar. But I don't think you can necessarily criticise him for going, I'll take the penalty, which could potentially be of most pressure. What you can criticise him like fairly strongly for is how abject his performance was throughout most of that match.
Modric got up and took the third penalty.
Yeah.
You know, I think that shows the difference in the characters. I think Neymar was hoping that he would score a winning penalty. Yeah.
Didn't quite react, and the same question that I had leading up to Neymar's goal is the same question that I had after Neymar's goal, and that is very simply, full disclosure, why is Neymar still on the field? Why is Neymar still on the field? Now, he scores the goal, genius, right? And we all bow down to Neymar and his greatness. And that's undeniable in that moment. But up until that moment, again, a lot of slow walking, a lot of slow jogging, a lot of sort of, I'm going to stand on the ball and the ball is not going to move. And if you do that, you allow Croatia to sit behind the ball and make it very difficult for you to create anything. I didn't quite understand why he was still on the field at that point. Obviously, I got him my answer. Tite, yeah, you're right. You're a genius. You know what you're doing. That's why I'm not managing the Brazilian national team. But then afterwards, if indeed you're going to take a defensive posture, then why is he still on the field? Because he's not going to help you defensively. And what was even more surprising after everything that I've said, Brazil are up 1-0. It is the second half of the extra time. They've taken a defensive posture. It's been a decision by Tite. And somehow you get caught in a counterattack in a 4v3 situation. How does this happen with players of this experience, with players of this caliber? If you've taken the defensive posture, then you pump the ball into the attacking half, hope that something happens over there, and you don't take
that penalty. I wonder where it leaves him. I know, Peter, you're not his biggest fan. What did you make of this?
No, it's not that I'm not his biggest fan, but I think if you have that name and that reputation, you have to step up. You have to create everything for this team. And he did it in one. This is what I don't understand. He did it once, and it ended up in a goal. It was brilliant. He played together with his teammates, and for many other situations in the game, he was trying to do it on his own. I think he would have taken the last penalty. We kind of don't know. We've been discussing that, but he probably would.
He would have.
It's equal Pele's record, though. He becomes the hero.
Well, he would become the country's all-time top scorer.
Cuando vas ganando 1-0, cuando eres Brasil, tú dices, atacaban, defendían 4, mal retroceso y atacaban 5. No
¿En esa jugada?
Sí, pero desde que mete el gol Brasil, no se vio sobrador Brasil y dijo, ahora me tiro atrás, ahora me voy a defender.
¿Es que no se tiran atrás?
Y lo otro es, y no se equivoca Tite al sacar después del gol a Neymar. Tú eres técnico.
Para mí,
da la impresión que ahí se equivoca.
Para mí se equivoca 2 veces, ya viendo el partido. Una esa, ¿no? A Neymar no lo puede sacar nunca. Porque Neymar te agarra la pelota y te hace 500 vueltas y se come un minuto.
Y es tu mejor
Pero ¿no crees que lo sacó para que recibiera la ovación del público por haber llegado a la marca? Ahí es donde tal vez también se pudo haber equivocado.
No puedes prestarte a eso.
Yo le invito un pomo y lo festejamos juntos. Pero no lo saco del partido. Y lo festejamos todos con el público y esto. Y la segunda equivocación. A Vinicius tampoco lo puede sacar y lo demostró Ancelotti contra Manchester City. Ancelotti ponlo en la esquina de la media cancha abierto y desde ahí él te hace las descolgadas.
Neymar no es retirado del campo en ningún momento. Neymar iba a cobrar el último penal y no llega.
Yo lo veía que estaba ahí parado, pero yo pensé que de la marca había corrido.
Neymar toda la ruta y estaba seguramente para cobrar el quinto penal. Nada diferente, vaya, no me imagino otro escenario. Pero justamente es Rodrigo quien cobra el primero, lo ataja Livakovic, Casemiro y Pedro concretan por el equipo brasileño, Marquinhos estrella en el poste, el cuarto de Brasil, y por su cuenta, Croacia había anotado todos los penales. Klasic, Mayer, Modric y Orsic. De tal
¿Sabes dónde
forma...
fue el error? Cuando saca a Lucas Paquetá, que fue el que te vino
ahí fue donde
nos equivocamos.
Nos fuimos al baile.